Check this out, guys. A friend of mine made me a lamp out of a landing light. Pretty neat, huh? Thanks, Steve. Alright guys, we're finding the holes for mounting the aluminum strip on here that the wingtip mounts on. We had all that all mounted before the covering, and then we put the covering on. Now we have to find the holes again. Just take your soldering iron to melt the covering. And then I've got a rivet, a countersink rivet in my vice grips here. Because if you don't, when I tried it a while ago, the material melts and kind of leaves a blob. So as you melt it, you want to stick your countersink rivet to melt down to shape that melted part. So find your part, stick it in, and get your rivet in there before it cools. Wall it around a little bit. That makes you a nice place for your rivets to go. Otherwise, your countersink rivets may be sticking up just a little bit. We're hoping these are flush. Then we put a finishing tape. We'll put a piece of finishing tape to cover the rivets back up. Hopefully they're flush and they'll be very little noticed. All there is to it. Got the other wing done. This all gets riveted. This metal piece that we'll be putting on here, you can look down here. These are the same metal pieces on the bottom. They go on top, and you put your wingtips on here. Now I'm ready to drill what the wingtip will mount onto this piece, and I'll drill it and get the screws and everything. Rivet this after I get the screws set. Then I'll be ready for it to be mounted. Alright. Okay, we've marked and drilled the bottom and the top of the wingtips. Drilled them all number 40 first and put clecos in them. Then came back and drilled them out bigger. We're going to put nut plates in there, so we're drilling them out for, I believe they're number 8 screws. Getting ready to take the wingtip off. We'll put the nut plates on, and we started some more body work on the tail of these wingtips. Needed more work. Then after that, we had to carve this. We had to carve the foam out here and fill it up with glue. Right now, we're going to get this wingtip back off here and start putting these nut plates on. See how that goes. Alright, I started out using a steel wheel. Oops. The same wheel, only with steel, and it worked real good. It was a little too aggressive though. It would eat on your fiberglass if you didn't watch it, which is fine. You just have to be careful. I found this felt wheel in my toolbox over there, and I put it in there, and it works real well. You can turn it a little bit sideways like that, and it'll pretty well clean both sides off at the same time, and it won't eat the fiberglass. So it's working good. I don't know if you can see down in there or not. think it says an 1/8 inch or something. I went deeper back here because this corner takes a beating. It's pretty flimsy back here anyway, so I went a little deeper there. I'm trying to shallow back up to, I'm sure I'm a little over 1/8 inch, but you just want to get that cleaned out. Fill her back up with your high saw, and it makes this whole piece just a lot stouter. When you've got very many nut plates to drill, it's worth your time to make yourself a little jig of some kind. I'll show you what I made. It's nothing special, but it works okay. Get you a nut plate, run a screw through it like that. Then on your piece of metal, I've already drilled these of course, but have you a hole drilled in your wood that you can put that nut down in. Then you simply just hold this side or you drill this one. And then if you get that done, then I have a drill bit here, and you simply put your hole back over the drill bit, and of course I have a hole for the bolt to go into here. And you run it down like that, and then all you have to do is put your finger on the screw and hold it tight, right over here, and you drill that side. And then both holes are perfect that way. Nothing got out of kilter. It's all good. So that's just kind of a simple thing that it took me looks like 30 minutes to drill all the nut plates for one wing. I have to deburr them now. Flip them over and deburr them. When you deburr them, you have to recess. I'm using these solid rivets. I'm using these solid rivets, and they're tapered heads, so you have to countersink the small holes anyway while you're deburring them. So I just go ahead and countersink them. Okay, I've got them all deburred and countersunk, ready for rivets. So I'll see about putting one of those in here in a minute. Alright, that's what they look like when you get done. Just countersink them, put your nut plate in there, and you're good to go. Makes for nice wingtip installation. You don't have to do them. You can use the screws that come with it. I like nut plates myself because they seem to, see if I can get it to focus here. There we go. I like them. They're just a neat installation. Seems like they really lay down there nice. Flush. Of course, the way the wingtips are, it's not that precision, not that precise. I will say these, I went over them. I countersunk them. I couldn't figure out what the correct depth hardly. I covered a piece of wood with fabric and countersank them deeper to make up for the fabric, and I'm still not deep enough. I've still got just a little bit of a bump there, and of course, you know, it ain't no big deal. Wanting them down flush, I wouldn't even care if I had enough room for a little fill. I would have filled them and made that. When I put the cover tape on here, it would have been slick, but oh well. I hope it still flies straight. Okay, we got the second one done. Hopefully the screws will go back in. Hopefully nothing moved out of place. Ready to start working on the finish work on the tips, getting them ready to cover now. Got the finishing tapes put on. Wings are ready to set out of the way for a while. Back on the fuselage. Finally got the wing tips done. They are a bear to say the least. Got them finished. They are ready for paint. The flat part gets covered. The fence, the flat part out on the end of them gets painted. They have been sanded to death, smoothed up. They are ready. This is how they tell you to make holes in your vortex. I already put the doubler on here, as you can see. And this is where the tank sump goes. That's where you take a sample every time before you fly to make sure you don't have water in your fuel. All right. I'm going to pause you for a minute while I finish this up with two hands. Okay, we have the hole finished. This is what goes in there. Just a little apparatus. When it hangs upside down inside your fuel tank, you press the pin inside. We have a tube with a pointer on it, and it goes up inside there and presses that and releases gas. And this is in a sump on the bottom of the tank, so if you have any water accumulated, why, you drain the water out. Of course, that's what you want, is to get the water out. So everything screws in fine, so I'll get some thread sealant on that and get that in there.
Alec, you know. Ready? 5 times?
Yep, 5 times.
3. That's 5. There's still no hole in it.
This is my sister. I let her try to beat on it today.
Hello.
She's up from Georgia visiting.
I've never been on YouTube before.
She's a first-time YouTuber.
Yes, I am.
She always got me in trouble when we were young.
Don't believe a word of it.
We won't talk about that now.
I'll never forget
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38 times. 38 times 5.
I think we did this when we went into Mom, you know.
Still shiny.
Don't forget how you did that.
Just needs a heat shrink again.